Here at Mr. Dafnis Panagides' house, dear friends and fans, we're back. We have only 2 megabytes of uploading connection, so just note that we might also need to get back to you with a third live streaming. Mr. Dafnis, I would like us to draw to a close. Another 2 things. I saw this note in your son's wallet, and the note reads the following: 33 MBA, that was your son's age at the time. He was 33 years old in 1999. He was studying for an MBA, 2.5 Cyprus pounds per day. And then you replied back when he sent that to you the following: when I was 33, son, I was married, 2 kids, in prison, no income. Then at 38, I had 4 kids, including the son who wrote this note, who received this note, a freshman, getting only $200 in the States. That's about $6.60 per day. And my question to you is the following, sir. Maybe your son was asking for money and you sent him advice. Would that serve him best? Or would money have helped him even more at the time?
I don't advise. I don't think giving money helps. And from my experience, I believe that what you need to give to your children is example, good example. Money, they take it and they spend it, but the example is the living, is the guiding, this is how they get the guiding principles for the rest of their life. This is how I see it.
Excellent. Short and to the point. Unbelievable. Mr. Panagides, just the last message for the younger generation. We have a lot of people. Nadia Themis has also asked the question. My personal assistant, Marina Diplar, was telling me to ask you this question. Tell us about the younger generation. What is your advice to the younger generation who are rather less fortunate in life, who have been the victims, in inverted commas, of the global financial crisis that started back in the early 2013? Okay. So what is your advice to them?
I would advise, I would give them the following advice. First of all, know yourself. This is the most difficult. The most difficult road, as many experts say today, is the road inside ourselves. Knowing ourselves is the first requirement. Our capabilities, our weaknesses, this is the first step. Now, if you're in business or if you plan to go to business, know your product, know your market, and know your competitor. My basic advice is knowledge. Invest in knowledge. Knowledge will build self-confidence, and we find many young people today who lack confidence in themselves. They don't, and they have their capabilities and their potential latent in themselves, and they don't give the opportunity to develop. This is why people like you, Michael, who inspire and motivate people, are doing a great service to the young people and to the society at large, because you inject the thing which is lacking, the spirit of motivation, the spirit of enthusiasm, and without these ingredients, wow, they cannot succeed.
Thank you very much. Your brother Thales Panagides is saying hello. He's asked me to ask you something, but because of the connection problems we have, I will save it for another episode. Do you have a final message for our friends and fans who are watching, mainly millennials, people who were born in the mid-80s until early 2000s? Any message?
Please get involved. We are heading towards an environmental disaster. world in an environmental disaster, we need people who will put time and effort to save the environment, to save this planet. And this will come from the younger generation, because you are the ones who will inherit the future. We are the people moving out. I am the generation moving out who created, to a great extent, the environmental problems, not only the environmental, other problems too. So I would advise my young friends to invest in themselves and knowledge, to try to motivate and get inspiration, because without this they are just incapable of achieving something, and I'm sure they are going to create a better world for themselves.
Mr. Panagides, it was such an honor. If you allow me to recap what we said, George Nitsopoulos from Australia says an investment in knowledge is the best investment. Thank you, George. It was an honor really to sit next to Mr. Panagides. Mr. Panagides told us the first thing that came out of his mouth, other than thanking us for being here, is to be prompt. He gave an example of a young girl who her father wanted him to help her get a job. But if you're not prompt, then you do not deserve to get a job. He talked about 3 of the books that have really influenced him. The New Testament. He talked about How to Influence People by Dale Carnegie. And last but not least, the book by Marcus Aurelius, Meditations. He told us that you need to self-examine yourself before you self-examine the world or anybody else in your vicinity. He has no time to think about death because his calendar is fully busy, and that's true. I can vouch for that. When I came for the first interview here just to get to know the man and understand what we're going to be talking about, his phone was ringing non-stop. Try not to discuss politics, religion, or sex if you like to keep your friends. That was the advice we got from Mr. Panagides. He said that at the end of the day, a shepherd changed him into a pacifist, so he dropped all guns, and his religion from then on became that he has to connect people and become a pacifist. He told us that you should major in learning before you major in any other topic. He talked about the values that he got from all the people who have influenced him, from his father, people that he met at Fasuri Plantation. And then he said for the younger generation, know yourself first of all, know your product, know your market, know your competitors, know your weaknesses and your strengths. Last but not least, 2 of Mr. Panagides' children are sitting here with us, Luisa and Thales, and I would please kindly ask them to come here and say hi to our friends and fans, because they so proudly are looking at their father. Luisa, please, and Thales, come and say hello for people to see you, because you've been patiently sitting here for over 40 minutes. Here is Thales and Luisa, come in.
This wasn't planned, but hi anyway.
Hello.
It is a pleasure to have you here. Thank you very much.
We must thank Marina.
And Marina, my assistant, Marina Diplaru, has appeared many times on the show. So from all of us here, thank you very much, and tune in next week for another amazing episode. Take good care.
Thank you.